Hello, this is Michael with Planet Marketing Department. This is our 6th or 7th Around the Planet interview, and I'm sitting down here today with Tom Gamblin. Tom Gamblin is I don't even know what the technical role is anymore. You're shop foreman, or you're?
Right now, I'm just a technician right now. I kind of took a step back because I'm preparing for the move, and so I wanted to be able to let some new guys get in that position so I can help them learn what they need to do to kind of keep things flowing.
Sure. So you've been with Hyundai for a very long time, and I don't really know how long that time is.
It's like 10 and a half, almost 11 years at this point. Started here in May of 2011. So
how did your journey from being pre-Planet to Planet, like how'd you get interested in this whole business, let alone Planet?
I guess it started back in high school. I always wanted to be a cook for some reason. You know, I was kind of looking around. Didn't seem like it was kind of, I guess, the money I wanted to make.
Sure.
But I was a very hands-on person. I think that's why I kind of like cooking. And so in high school, I decided to work on cars, and I moved to Denver in 2010.
Where from?
Crimling, so little town Crimling.
Okay.
Moved out to Denver, went to Arapahoe Community College, and that's kind of where Planet drafted me from there. So.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So they were actually looking for tech or loop techs at the time, and part of the program at there is to work. So I applied here, and it's kind of been history ever since.
So it was like 2010.
So it was about March. I think it was actually March of 2011.
Okay.
That's when I first started here, and so
cool.
It's been a.
And you started as a loop tech?
Yep, started as a loop tech.
Sorry to interrupt you. How much knowledge did you have when you started compared to how much knowledge you've gained?
There was very little knowledge when I started. There was a lot of parts to cars I didn't know. So at the time, it was a lot of asking questions. You know, what's this part? What's that part? And eventually you start learning the parts, and then it's a lot to take in. But
sure.
Once you start to learn the basics, everything else you can learn along the way. And it's a lot of just taking stuff apart and remembering how to put it back together.
That's what like James does every day. He just like takes an engine apart and rebuilds it.
Yep.
You have 10 years of Hyundai experience, which is kind of interesting. I'm close. I'm at 9 years, and I've been a Planet guy, and I started as a Honda guy. For Hyundai, you've kind of been there for their transition, I guess I would call it. 10 years ago, the Hyundai brand was a heck of a lot different than it is now.
Yeah.
So what have you seen in like the 10 years as far as the technology and its advancements, or just what have you seen? And like, not a lot of people have a 10-year window to look at Hyundai. So like, what have you observed as they've grown?
A lot, actually, a lot's changed, especially in the last 5 years. When I started, a car would have maybe 7 modules in it. Now we're hitting close to 40 modules in a car.
Jeez.
So they've kind of, there's a lot more wiring in these cars, a lot more modules. They kind of redesigned the motors. It's a different type of fuel system with those guys. The body designs changed a ton in 2011, kind of right at that time frame. Just so much have changed in them. There's no more timing belts really anymore on the Hyundai side of things. No more power steering pumps and stuff. It's all electronic. They've simplified them quite a bit in the sense of maintenance stuff that you need without having the power steering. You don't have to worry about hoses leaking or fluids to exchange or timing belts to replace, things like that. So lots changed there.
Sure. So you mentioned your move. Where are you going?
Going to Florida. Going to Orlando.
So you joked about you'll plug your wife's business. Go ahead, plug your wife's business. What's the deal with Orlando?
Well, we just had to go to Orlando. There's a few reasons. One of the reasons, the wife's a travel agent. She enjoys selling. She's really good at it. She enjoys selling to people, and she loves Disney. So that's right now Disney and Royal Caribbean, her big things, and Universal. And she's working on to learn more about the different things out there, sandals, all those things. It's a lot to learn, just like it's a lot to learn all these different places. But we love to travel, and we cruised a lot, and so going to Florida, right next to our home cruise port over there in Port Canaveral, and Disney's right 20 minutes down the road, and got a got a yard for the kid now, so he can run around, and
Cool.
so we're excited. Going on a cruise for Christmas, so we're excited about that. So
That's
it's one
awesome.
of the perks of moving there.
So moving to Florida, your wife is Liz, right?
Yes.
Is a travel agent. I know you have a boy named Oliver because we've talked.
Yeah.
What would you say? What are some of your passions? And here's why I'm asking that. We know you do your job. We know you're good at what you do. You diagnose, you fix cars. You know, like, sure, like I'm good. I know Google Analytics. I know everybody.
Right.
We can all kind of be like, I know what these guys know.
Right.
But, you know, what you might not know about me is I like martial arts, and I like to bake, and I run 10Ks. You know, like, those are the weird things that there's no tell.
Right.
So I'm just curious, you know, I get it. You got a young kid, so it's not like you've got ample free time. But what are the things that kind of spark your passion?
I mean, I guess I enjoy cooking, like outside of work. I mean, I don't get to do as much as I hope, but like at home, probably shows. I got a flat top griddle outside. I got a grill. I got a smoker. So my deck's full of fun little toys.
Sure.
Got a turkey fryer. I got all the little gadgets. I love just trying to experiment, like Thanksgiving. You know, deep frying a turkey, or just trying different ways to create food, or even just taking your leftovers and making something weird out of it that's delicious. You know, wife doesn't always agree with those things, but they always come out good some way, one way or another.
What are your recipes? What do you like to cook? Because you're right. You got the fryer. You got it all. But
Right.
what is it that's like? If I said, Tom, I really always wanted someone to make this, what would you be like? I can do it.
I mean, man, I can't say I have like a signature dish. What I like to do is I like to research just recipes, and I look at 5 or 6 before I start, and then I see what similar ingredients they are, what ingredients I like, and then I kind of just wing it. I mean, I don't have this much salt or this much pepper. It's just kind of, I like to season heavily, and, I guess, I really enjoy pulled pork, cooking that.
Do you do it like in a slow cooker? Or?
I do that in my Traeger smoker. So I feel like that's like a 101 for smoking, because it's almost, you can't mess it up.
But you can't really dry it out.
Yeah,
right?
you can't dry it out. And I mean, there's just, once it's cooked and once it's shredded, it's so versatile. You can make sandwiches. You can just eat it off the plate. You can do whatever you want with it. Sauce, no sauce. You can add a vinegar to it and make it like Carolina style.
Sure.
So it's just, that's one of my kind of like, go-to easy things. Good for big gatherings.
Sure.
The thing I've been kind of playing with, still working on, is pastrami. So if you go to, so I don't do the full process. So if you go to like King Soopers, Safeway, and you buy the packages during like St. Patty's Day of the corned beef, you actually take those guys, pretty much wash them off, or just let them sit for about 24 hours to suck some of the salt out of them, and then you crust them with a pastrami crust, and then you smoke those to about 200 degrees, and it's pretty close, about as close as you get to pastrami without actually doing the brine process yourself, because the brine process yourself would take, I think, a couple weeks.
Dang.
So it's kind of a little shortcut, but still get some good quality, and still tinkering with the crust there, and trying not to dry it out and everything. So, but that's I guess that's my one right now.
Okay. So you're a guy who likes tools, and you've got all the hardware. Is the Traeger, like, if you only could have one for a month, like, is the Traeger your tool of choice?
Oh man, that's a tough one. The flat top's up there. I got a full size griddle on my deck as well.
That's awesome.
And I love being able to like cook fajita veggies on there. I mean, hamburgers are good on the grill, but they're also just as good on the griddle. They get that crust on there. I mean,
have you ever made a ginormous pancake?
I have done that, yes. I would say pancake, you can fill the whole thing up with bacon. It's nice. You do the bacon out there. Your house doesn't smell like bacon or whatever.
True, less smoke inside.
Yeah, keeps the heat down in the home. The flat top's so versatile. I use that quite often, just for so many different things. So that's good. That's a tough one, because you make quesadillas. You can. It's nice flavor you get from that flat top, with a little bit of the kind of cast iron-esque to it. So
I have a fun fact for you before we sign off. I have a friend that grew up in England.
Okay.
He has English family. And you talk about how you like to just work with what you got, make something. There's a dish that is English tradition called Bubble and Squeak. And what it is, and I'm not making this up, is if you have all your leftovers from the big Christmas or Thanksgiving dinner.
Okay.
It's usually Christmas.
Right.
And you take them all. So it could be cranberries, Brussels sprouts, turkey, ham, doesn't matter. And you just kind of chop it all up and you just throw it into a cast iron or a pan and you just like pan fry it. And that's breakfast the next day.
That's something I would do.
Bubble and Squeak.
So
Give that a
sounds pretty
Google.
delicious.
Thomas didn't know about that. I have done it, and it was like not asparagus. It was like Brussels sprout, ham, like mashed potatoes, and cranberry sauce. And you're like, geez, what the heck? And you put it all together, and I put some fried eggs in it, and it was honestly great.
That's the best way to use leftovers. You get all that flavor together.
Yeah. Tom Gamblin's a really good dude. He has helped me feel more comfortable visiting the shop. I like to get around. I like to move around, and I'm the kind of guy that likes to know the people I work with. And when you start going into, for me, when I would go downstairs to the technicians, go back 5-6 years ago, I felt totally out of place. I was like, I don't want to break anything. I don't want to touch anything.
I don't want to touch it.
But Tommy always made me feel very welcome. You didn't tell me when my questions were stupid. You just answered them.
That's what I go for. I mean, that's how people learn. If they don't feel comfortable asking, they're not going to learn. So you got to make them feel comfortable, so they don't ask, they might not do the job right. So
Tom's an awesome dude. I can tell you, thank you for the way you've helped me personally and professionally, and on behalf of Planet, thanks for everything you did. When are you out of here?
As of right now, I think haven't officially announced it, but like November 9th is probably my last day. It's my birthday. It's the last day of the pay period, and it's gives me about a week and a half to pack up before fully having to make that drive.
Cool. So you're probably gonna do Thanksgiving in Florida.
Yeah, something like that. I mean, unpacking, to wing it, go find something out. I don't know. We'll see what happens.
Well, hopefully this was educational. Tom's a great dude. Thanks for listening, and you got maybe a month to 2 months to shake his hand and get a recipe. Tom, we appreciate it. Thanks for sitting down.
Yeah, thank you guys. I appreciate it.